I'm just going to pick right up where I left off in the Handbook for the New Paradigm, Volume 1, with session number 22. Today's date is Saturday, August the 19th, 2023. The failure, as for when these were channeled, this was all published in 2018. The failure of the planned conflagration is to be expected, for there must be a foe in order for that to happen. If indeed there are no armaments to oppose them, what will the dark forces do? There have been such conflicts, but the end result was not something to be repeated. There were self-appointed ones who knew of no other way to oppose distorted energy forces. And this resulted in two wrongs, which did not equate to a right. It is imperative that it be understood that armed resistance is futile. Those of us charged with assisting in resolving this situation will not support it. Though it has been mentioned before, it seemed appropriate to make this point entirely clear. There is an interesting method of resistance employed by workers within industry when they are working in a factory situation in which the owners/managers are oppressive. It is called, quote, malicious compliance. It is extremely effective over a period of time. In this instance, the employees do only that which they are told to do. They execute their assigned functions, but nothing else. For example, if a machine is breaking down, they do nothing about it. If an item of production is out of place as it moves down the line and will become entangled in any way, they do nothing. It was not in their job description. They cooperate in exactly the way they are told. Nothing is done to create a situation. They just allow the process to follow its natural course. Total compliance, no resistance, and the situation deteriorates into chaos by its own volition. An interesting course to contemplate. Is this turning the other cheek? Not really. It is understanding the process of manifested creation outside of nature, that which comes into being through the focus of thought is maintained through continued focus. It continues as long as it serves its purpose, and the focus of positive attention holds it in manifestation. When support for this is withdrawn, it returns to chaos. Management, as in the above example, rarely knows the exact functions, and their focus is upon manipulating the workers, the customers, and the balance sheet. They are too few holding the focus with positive intent for the manifestation to hold its form. How then is nature different? Nature is creation expressing in harmony with itself. Man did not create nature. Scientists are busy altering nature in your time. Ever bother to find out how long the hybrid distortions can be held in form? I have heard all about it. Nature takes over and reverts back to the original blueprint in time, depending on the life cycles of the beings that have been altered. Check into the whole altering of a fly to make it blind and how long it took Mother Nature. I think it was only two 2 or 3 generations. And of course, generations in the lifespan of fly is pretty quick. They cannot replicate themselves in perfection. The genes must be recombined, and often that does not happen according to past successes. It does happen when the intent is in harmony with nature, as in producing flowers of greater beauty and different colors. But the intent is to glorify, not exploit, the process of nature. Most often, those who love the plant work within the plant processes to accomplish the successful changes. And these are folks who just, work within the plant's processes, not artificially changing it, is what I think they're referring to there. The point of this discussion is to bring to your attention the importance of the intent of the group that desires to cooperate with creation as they focus on the framework of the new paradigm. It is suggested that they consider nature as their ideal. This might give them a starting point. How indeed does nature fit into the whole of creation? How could humanity live in harmony with nature rather than attempt to have dominion or power over it? That does not mean that nature could not assist mankind in existing on this planet, but it should be a reciprocal relationship. The future would involve cooperating with nature within the laws of the universe. I really kind of feel like that's part of, and I do feel like that's possible. Everything has consciousness within it. But what are those laws? Where does humanity find those laws that have been hidden from them? In the small amount of time remaining, in the small amount of time remaining, is there time to study nature and attempt to put together an accurate understanding that could be disseminated quickly enough? You must remember that what you need is available if you but ask. Already the law of attraction has been mentioned. But how many laws are there? Less than you might think. The number of applicable laws increases at each dimensional level. For the learning of these laws and their applications allows for evolvement to the next level, where there are more to learn and to apply within experience. Let us begin a review of these laws. It is a review because you have forgotten them in your sojourn to the third dimensional experience. The underlying law of creation is the law of attraction. Simply stated, like attracts like. It does this through the basic tool of creation, thought. I believe your Bible states, as a man thinketh, so he is. If you focus on the morass of evil, once you are aware of it, you strengthen it. It is important to be aware of it so that you may withdraw your support of it by using the second law of creation, the law of deliberate intent. Purposefully withdrawing your fear and fascination for the evil situation once you are aware of it, with the deliberate intent of doing so, is using this law. You cannot do this by attempting to stop thinking about it. It is only possible to do this by substituting another thought on a completely different subject. In the case of the evil plan, it requires the total inclusion of those involved. It does not matter what the thoughts are, as long as they support the plan. Complicity involves believing the intent of those involved is for the good of all. Wait a minute. I'm going to read that again because that's what? Complicity involves believing the intent of those involved is for the good of all. I feel like they don't know what their true intent is. Perhaps now you can see the power of sympathy for the afflicted ones around your globe. This supports the victim consciousness that is required, for it is complicity in disguise. Do you not consider them victims of war or natural disaster or poverty? You must take a deep breath, accept your part in bringing support to their feelings of victimhood. Oh, yes, I can see. I used to do that. Yes. They too have responsibility in the creation of those situations. Your sympathy will not solve their misery. Your deliberate choice to create a new paradigm of experience will do that. Withdrawing your focus of attention and bringing it toward creating a new experience will bring the change about far more quickly than repeatedly sending aid while considering them poor innocent victims. Does this sound hard-hearted? From our point of view, it is hard-hearted to be part of the creation of those horrendous situations in the first place. You must deliberately choose to implement your desire to create a whole new experience for them as well as yourselves. When you choose to place your intent beyond the play perceived by the five senses and place it instead into the creation of a new experience, you are withdrawing your consent and support of the experience in which you no longer wish to participate. You are using the second law of the universe. These are the two laws that apply to this situation. There are yet two more, and those shall be brought to bear within this information as it is appropriate. It is important that we progress within the laws as they are applicable. It is important that you come to realize that the laws of the universe are immutable. They cannot be changed or distorted. They work without question as to whom is applying them. When you consider the plan of evil intent that surrounds you, you can see them at work. Like attracts like, and intent of purpose brings situations into being. However, we have attempted to bring to your understanding that there are nuances within these laws that allow for creation to continue. There needs to be an understanding and awareness of the leavening ingredient of free will, followed by its proper use. Through this, we have infinite variety within creation and expansive movement results. It is our hope that you will contemplate the implications of this information and that it will enlighten your understanding as well as strengthen your resolve to serve with our winning team. And that's the end of number 22. And I'm going to go right into number 23 here. So this is session number 23. When we last had occasion to deal directly with those behind this plot, it was within a conference type situation. At that time, they were informed that there was full awareness of what their plan was set to accomplish. They were told that it was a futile attempt, but it was their choice to continue on in their chosen path. Inasmuch as free will is the loose cannon of the universal plan for evolvement, there was nothing we could do. Now it has reached the point at which their plan is indeed a threat. Not that it could ever fulfill their desired goal of a negative universe/galaxy. It can, however, create unimaginable chaos. Do not take this information lightly. It is indeed a serious situation. This is not the fault of the inhabitants of Earth. It is just that this was the planet with the consciousness and physical manifested body type to fit the most ideal criteria for their plan. This is not the first time they have tried to overwhelm your planet to use it and humans for this purpose. It was a long time ago in your sequential counting. They were far advanced then in their technological gadgetry, but did not understand humanity, which allowed them to be repulsed. Unfortunately, humanity chose to use force to do so, and in that way, buried within their psyche the belief that force was the only way to solve any encroachment upon their perceived freedom. In a way, it married you to them through this perception. This time, they believe that the earlier error in understanding their foe will not be repeated, for they have studied you well. Every weakness is known and is being exploited for their purposes. However, their focus was upon inducing your cooperation rather than resisting them until it is too late for you to do so. They carefully laid plans to overwhelm you both sensually and physically. In particular, they have emphasized safety over adventurous risk, except within military paradigms. And please remember, this is, again, this is published in 2018, so I find this very interesting as to how much this has shown itself. So you have insurance for all risky portions of your regimented life. You have your addictive paycheck system to depend upon, along with Social Security. Notice it is always capitalized right along with your references to God. Even omnipresent Satan clause is capitalized. That was in parentheses. Notice it's always capitalized. Your heroes are well-paid sports or movie stars. How adventurous are these? Your movie star heroes are drugged and adulterous in open display along with your presidential movie star. Remember, if you can be held at the lowest level of your dimension, you cannot take advantage of the dimensional leap at the shift of the cycles, but can instead be taken to an even lower level of vibration. At that point, it is their intention to separate the soul energy from the body. They have no intention of putting it back into another body. It is the energy that they plan to use as power in the transformation of the chaos they intend to cause from positive to negative. They believe that the lower the vibration, the nearer it is to the still point, thus making it more malleable. All of these theories have been concluded by attempting to study creation through the process of following its steps backward from manifestation to creative impetus. Ooh, I'm being flashed CERN. Fortunately, there are many miscalculations in their plan, but not enough to avoid creating great chaos indeed if their plans progress much farther. Here again, we are faced with the great stumbling block of free will. The key ingredient in both bringing this situation into existence and causing it to self-destruct. This magical key is held by the consciousness of the beings on this planet. The consideration of the situation from the above point of view allows for it to seem to be a very bleak future indeed. Enter the view from the other side, that of creation. This view is adventurous, opportunistic, and positive. It moves not upon long and exacting plans, but within a fluid and expansive mode. It moves within a creative stance that allows for enhancement of individual and collective experience rather than suppression and destruction. Remember the picture of the pond. The other side must control the ripples from the outside in, while we may cause them great problems of containment by using just one small pebble. One idea, continuing thought focused on creation. We have here two opposite modes of movement within the totality of creation. Oh, yes. Now, looking at the big picture, on which side would you place your bet? It is not that our side does not have some problems to resolve. It is just that we have the innate, natural, expansive consciousness that harmonizes with the intended life experience, even though the conscious awareness appears to be mesmerized into sleep. How does one bring a hypnotized person back to consciousness? Is it not a snap of the fingers? But must that trigger be previously programmed? Not necessarily. Their planned trigger is the sudden mass realization of overwhelming control, an emotion they plan to feed upon with great enthusiasm. So we have been busy triggering this realization in a slow and steady manner so as not to alert them to the damage that is being done to their planned trigger. Remember the 100 monkey theory? It is a slow and increasing dawning of understanding within the mass consciousness until a critical number reaches an awareness of a new concept and all know. Guess what? We are disarming their trigger. Are you aware of the awakening happening now? And again, remember, this is 2018, folks, that this is published. So, and I don't have the date it was actually channeled. You were hoping for sudden realization while we were implementing the opposite. We are planning surprises of our own. It is indeed rewarding or fun, as you put it, to be on the winning side and know it. Yes, I know people who have had dreams of attending meetings at night during their sleep. And it's so fascinating to have that corroborated with these channelings right here. Back to the book. Now is the time to begin preparing this step in the process of a new focus for the awakening awareness of your planetary inhabitants, a new paradigm of experience. How fast must it move into the fray? Don't sweat that for a minute. Just do your part, and all will come into play right on time. Once the first crack in their plan is complete, things will pick up in momentum. Just remember that we are hardly impotent. It is just that we must play the game according to the rules that ensure success. Not so for our opponents. Keep in mind that the Creator must retain all of his fragments, even those that are our perceived opponents. He cannot stop caring for any part of the whole of his being. Let that sink in, folks. And there's a note here. It says, note that we use the masculine within this information when referring to the Creator. It is just that creating is an attribute of the masculine focus, while the womb, or the ability to contain the creation of the masculine function, is considered the feminine attribute. Through this, we have the depiction of the masculine creator and the Mother Earth. Indeed, it is balance in wholeness of experience. We would prefer that the women of Earth would come into this understanding and find their balance within it soon. May these glimmers of understanding be blessings indeed, as you continue to fulfill your commitments within this wonderful event. Keep on going. And I'll stop here. We will begin the next one right at number 24, session number 24, and that will be on page 80. So I hope you're enjoying this, and I hope it's appearing in the right order. If you have any comments, if you would like to join my book study group, as we will be beginning to reread this from the beginning together, when we can stop and have conscious conversation about the book. Reach me at consciousconversationcentral@gmail.com. In the subject line, just put book study handbook, or just put new paradigm handbook study. There you go. New paradigm handbook study. Put that in the show more section, or in the subject. Till next time, be well, my friends.